Check. Six. Now. Stop.
Good afternoon everyone, I'm Avinash, and for those of you who doesn't know who he is Magneto. As you have read X-Men comics, he is one of the greatest villains, and what he does is, he actually can control anything with his hand gestures. So as a child I have always wondered how can a person make an object implicate his actions. So as I grew, my idea evolved, and then I came to college. I saw a lot of people making different kind of bots, controlled by many aspects like remotes, laptops, and accelerometers or G sensors, and even phones. But nothing was close to the idea which was in my mind, the way how to control a bot. As you can see, this guy, his name is Pranav, as a pretty famous guy. I think you have watched this video. It's a pretty famous video. What exactly he does in this is, he connects the reality with the virtual world. He makes an interlink between the reality and the virtual world. So this idea was pretty good, and I thought I can take this and make my idea come into life. So what I did was, I started searching on internet for a lot of tools which can help out in this, like controlling a bot with just your hand gestures or motions, and I found a software. It's called camera mouse. What exactly this software does is image processing. This software was actually developed by a person in Boston University a few years ago. In this thing, you actually sit before your PC and then adjust a reference point on the camera. Like let's say the reference point is your nose or something, and when you move your nose, you'll be moving the reference point. In turn, you'll be moving the mouse cursor. So I thought, if you can move the mouse cursor without even touching a mouse or even anything, if you can move the mouse cursor just with your bare hands, I thought, why can't we control a bot with our bare hands? Like controlling the arm of a bot which can implicate the way you move your fingers. So this particular idea grew up, and we wanted to make it into a bot. And now Ravi will explain you with a small demo, and later on Ravi and Daniel will explain how we are going to implement the idea and what is the future scope in the next few minutes of our presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, as you know I'm Ravi. I'm here going to give you a small demo on how the project is basically done with a small example. Here I just connected a normal basic laptop with a normal a webcam, and this is the software. It's initializing. So I'll remove my mic away from me and let you see what's happening so that you won't get confused what's happening really. One second. First, I'll put a reference point to my, let's say, nose. As you can see, it's tracking the green dot, it's tracking my mouth, and now the mouse is also controlled with that. Now, what I need to do, I'll just demonstrate you with a small game that we have found, a small flash game. So, you can just adjust my reference point. You can see the hand in the game is actually moving. the way I'm moving my face up, down, same way, what our intention in the future is exactly to control any board, or here we have taken a single reference point. But in the future, what we are planning to do is actually take multiple reference points. For example, we can take 5 fingers as the 5 reference points and control a board which is sent in a space for any work that is done in the space stations wirelessly without any other tools that are required, and also for the training and all that cost that is put in to do the same in the space and all. And now Danny will explain you the further future scope and all those related.
Okay, I'm Daniel, and till now we have seen how, means what is the baseline of what you're going to do the product on, or the product idea is on. Means till now we have played games or watched different people controlling the different boards or doing other activities. But now with this thing you can not even touch your remote. So when we come to any industry, any part of our civilization, the first thing that comes to us is the defense. So our thing is to see, this is one of the Israel and Rafael companies bought. They can operate this thing. You can see the joysticks and all the operations which they do on the systems. So they are using all the complex systems. What we are planning to do is, no system will be there in front of them. Only the camera and the processor unit. Only with those two things, they no need to even have the remote control with the different buttons and all, no confusion at all. Only thing is your hand or your head is the control. And next, after that the difference comes our industries. So industries, we have many factors. If you see the Intel, for example, the way how they control the chips. When you're doing any work on your chip or any other semiconductor device, you're not supposed to touch it with your bare hand. Because our hand has a static electricity and all the transistors get spoiled with the static electricity. So they used all the different equipment to spend a lot. So these helps us, even the equipment which they use to control, hope they may not have all the full control if they want. So with this thing will be the full freedom for them to use their robotic hand or any other control which they have. And finally, these are general commercial applications. Like this is the most recent thing which you can do with a smartphone. We need to have the smartphone and we can control the car, a small toy car, through different type of programming. We can interface through Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or okay. And this thing. So what you see, this is you have to catch your mobile in your hand. But with this thing, not even catch anything with your hand or anything to sit in front of an object. Just your only thing you have to do is your fingers or your face. So these are different levels of future how we can implement this thing in our society. And to explain to the final bottom line, Ravi will be telling you.
Yeah. As you've seen previously, Pranav Mystery's video, what he has basically done is he has linked the reality with the virtuality. And now with our concept, what we have planned to do is simply link the reality using the virtuality to control another reality. And in the future, what we basically are going to do is control one kind of reality with another reality. That's what our main plan is. And as you can see, Magneto is no more a super villain. We have cracked his code. Thank you.
Yes.
IT department.
Okay, here we can see some stuff is going on. Actually, what is it? Can you please explain?
Well, it's the event name Axel Row. As you can see, we are building the track for the board to race. Basically, a racing board, which will be racing one-on-one, and there will be time laps for that. And there will be many obstacles, as you can see it over there. They have to pass through the obstacles to get their points and win the 10,000.
Please come and have this game and play this and win different prizes. So thank you. This is Ankita. This is Ankita.